about your experience with like diagnosis with bipolar, like your symptoms, how it manifests, and one of the things that you wish people would understand about it, basically, because obviously what has come out of the situation with Kanye West is this understanding that people don't understand.
Absolutely.
What it's like.
Yeah.
So I'd love to give kind of like you a voice to kind of show what it's like and like educate people on that experience.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Cool.
You go ahead.
So could you just tell me a bit about when you were diagnosed with bipolar and what your journey to getting a diagnosis was like?
Oh, and I just want to chat. Are we just having a little chat? We're not doing the interview just yet.
Well, we can do. I would be happy to start the interview now if you'd like.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm just making sure I keep focused so I get the understanding, because my biggest thing is with the Kanye, it's caused a bit of confusion that people don't understand what it is. And I totally understand Kanye West has his own personality and anybody who's seen some of the news will just think this is what bipolar is and mental health. So I really want to help to show what it's about. Okay, so my diagnosis, I was diagnosed with bipolar about 12 years ago.
Okay.
Now, I have taken a lot of time to understand my bipolar, mental health and management. And you'll hear me say my bipolar. And the reason I say my bipolar is anybody that has a mental illness, there are psychiatrist symptoms, but everybody handles it differently because we've got different personalities anyway, like Kanye. So when I say my bipolar, I have to say that for me, because it helps me become more confident that I manage it for me. Because somebody else with bipolar might have more highs than me. Like Kanye West has more highs, I have depression. So I was diagnosed 12 years ago. And one of the difficult things is for bipolar, which is one category of mental health, bipolar is extremely difficult to diagnose.
Okay.
So people with bipolar have a little bit more difficulties and deal with it differently because they might be misdiagnosed incorrectly to start with. So in my case, I had a lot of panic attacks in the beginning.
Okay.
Then I had a lot of depression. And in my early teenage, I had a lot of issues with friendship and stuff. And, you know, socially, I'm not very good. Although I'm a networking guru, my social skills weren't great. And I was feeling very suicidal. So when I was a teenager and I did get help for depression, they could not have diagnosed it with bipolar because they couldn't see it. So 12 years ago, when I fell ill with depression and I did have a manic episode, they were able to do a lot of investigation to diagnose me with bipolar. In the beginning, when they diagnosed me, obviously I was scared because I never knew what bipolar was. You can imagine 12 years ago, we didn't even talk about mental health as it is now. So I couldn't really even go on the internet. I mean, the internet, I might be showing my years and age, but you know, the internet wasn't it wasn't as big now, or you couldn't do bipolar as a hashtag back in those days to learn more.
Yeah.
So I had to rely on doctors. And the biggest difficulty in the beginning being diagnosed that a lot of mental health ill individuals face with is the medication.
Yeah.
So I went through a roller coaster trying to get the medication right.
Yeah.
And the biggest disadvantage that still is a huge problem now is the medication is so strong and has side effects. Sometimes it can make me really tired. So actually it's good that we're in Corona because I can rest more, because running around, say, as a networking guru speaker, you know, I used to get so tired and I used to think, oh, because I've been working hard. Now, one of the biggest messages I would like to put across with mental health, anybody that has a mental health illness, if it's depression, schizophrenia, eating disorder, because I've done a mental health level 2, one of the biggest problems is most people with a mental health illness do not like taking their medication.
Yeah.
So I've heard many times Kanye West says he doesn't like taking his medication because what happens is it can numb you.
Yeah.
However, the repercussion, if you don't take your medication, you get ill. So I really make sure I take my medication. Now, in the last definitely 4 to 5 years, I've really looked at my symptoms and how it affects my life and made lots of different adjustments.
Okay.
And I've also had to have maybe difficult conversations with my family because I used to shut them out and how they can help me. So at the moment, things that I do to manage my bipolar, if I say socially, I've just come to the realization that, you know what, I might be a good speaker, but I wasn't blessed with lots of friends. I've had a lot of issues with friends. So I've looked at it as quality over quantity. I have a very tight, small circle.
Yeah.
And I know that my bipolar has affected me making new friends. Because in business, I'm fine. Socially, you know, I might have a mood swing. And somebody new who doesn't know me or my mental health might get the wrong perception of me.
Yeah.
So that's a weakness that I have to distill. And that's for life. That's just the way I am. Then the other thing is, if we look at Kanye West with manic, my bipolar comes in 2 forms. I do get manic episodes like Kanye West, but say 70% of the time I get a lot of depression.
Okay.
So when I have a manic stage like Kanye West, and it breaks my heart because I know exactly, so I'm going to try not to get teary-eyed here, I know exactly what he's going through.
Yeah.
And when you're going through manic stage, one personality trait, a lot of people with bipolar are very creative.
Yeah.
We're very intelligent people because Van Gogh has had bipolar. There's a list that I look at and refer to. We're very talented people. So what happens is when you go through manic, it like makes you double up on your skills. So if you had to take an exam, you'll probably pass it. So you get super creative. You want to do so many different things. You get so energetic. In my case, I like writing or stuff. So I could write for ages. So I totally understand with Kanye West. He'll get on the computer and start typing loads of tweets and he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. And then things that might have been bothering you before, a biggest trait when you're manic, you're very talkative.
Okay.
So you just start talking and sometimes it could be personal stuff. So it's so sad, but I understand where he's coming from. You know, he was talking about something else with the presidency about, you know, more children. And then he probably just remembered what happened with Kim and started talking. And I've been in situations like that. Now, in my case, I do have to manage my bipolar because if I'm manic, I'll stay at home.
Yeah.
I won't go anywhere because I don't want to get into any arguments with anyone. I don't want to get arrested. So I literally stay at home. So I know when I'm manic. And in my case, this is a funny thing to maybe bring some humour. When I get so energized, do you know what happens to me? I get a burst of energy to tidy up the whole house. So my manic, rather than me go outside, start talking to people I don't know and get myself into trouble, for some reason, the energy might come in cooking and tidying the house. And then this is how your mind got so crazy. You start tidying the house, then you don't concentrate, then you tidy something else, and you know you've got old papers, always got old papers, you start on the old papers, then you've done this for 2-3 hours and it feels great in the beginning, then you get so tired, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And then unfortunately the other symptom I have is my memory. Oh God, this is so difficult and so upsetting that your memory can totally go. And the way it affects my memory is cooking. I really like cooking because it relaxes me. And I'm a big foodie. I love food. But when my bipolar's so bad, like, I can't even remember how to cook an egg. And I love eating eggs. I can't remember how to boil it, anything. Like, a butternut squash that I love, I wouldn't even know, okay, I can cook this into soup or make, you know, your memory goes.
Yeah.
And the other thing that affects me when my memory goes is it then can sometimes turn into depression. And then I lose my confidence.
Yeah.
So if you told me, oh, Bella, you know, you're the great, famous networking speaker, you've spoken at Houses of Parliament, O2, University of Westminster, you've done this and the third, I wouldn't understand what you mean. I lose my confidence. I forget all my achievements. So one of the ways that I try to remind myself is I've got a lot of speaker videos and stuff. So I try and play the videos or play my podcast to hear myself, or, you know, I have a little checklist that I have on my wall, on my fridge, because what I found before is it used to affect me so much that time would go on so quickly. So a week would pass and it would turn into a month and I'd have the depression for so long.
Yeah.
So that is the other thing. The other thing that, so we talked about manic. So when I'm depressed, the other thing is, do you remember I said whatever your personality is, it doubles when you're not well? So when I'm depressed socially, as much as I'm a great networking guru, I can speak in front of a crowd of 50 people, 70 people, 100 people. I am a totally different person in my professional life, like Beyonce. But at home, I'm very quiet. I actually don't like a lot of noise and stuff. So I don't, as I said, I don't have a lot of friends. So when I'm depressed, everything doubles and triples. I feel like I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to socialize. And that's one of the messages I want to put across. And this affects anyone. You don't have to be mentally ill. You can get depressed. It's really not good to shut out people. And I know this is easier said than done. Have that one or two person that checks on you or knocks on your door. Because what I used to do is I used to shut everybody out. I used to shut my family out. And I would be like, oh, I can just do this by myself. And it actually makes you feel worse because you just you sit there and you just start remunerating over and over. And then I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. You know, I would sit there and I'd feel bad about myself. And you have so many bad negative thoughts. You know, things you wouldn't even say to another person. You say, oh, you're not good. You're so rubbish. You can't even cook now. And you just torment yourself. It's really hard. So, you know, I had to talk to my family because they found it difficult because they tried to help. They don't know what to do. So I did, you know, I sat down and I had a discussion. I said, you know, I really don't mean to shut you out. Sorry, I was being mean by saying don't phone me, but that's not what I'm saying. It's almost a cry for help because I was trying to do it by myself. So we came up with a system how they can help me, or, you know, little signs that they know if I'm getting depressed. Because I would normally just sit there and when I say sit there, Lauren, you know the phrase, I didn't even know this phrase was popular, Netflix and chill. Yeah. Well, when you're depressed, you don't have concentration to watch anything. But I would sit I don't even know, YouTube might be on, I don't even know what's going on, the whole day or the whole weekend, like the whole week, you know. And so, you know, my family would try to get in contact and I would just like ignore their calls. So one of the messages that I would want to get out is mental health can affect everyone. And it's so great. We are living in this coronavirus times, although it's difficult. But what you need to do, all of us, CEOs, directors, because mental health does not discriminate. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy, in a great house, stolter stashers. You can feel, you can have bad days. And there's things we can do to try and avoid those bad days becoming more bad days and turning into weeks. So we do, as individuals, need to be and implement mental fitness for ourselves. So the same way we go to the gym, we do this and that, trying to look good for the summer, we continuously have to do mental fitness. So there's things we can try and do, especially like self-care, to look after our mental state. Because our brains, this is what I learned, that our brains are a muscle. And we have to exercise that muscle. So there's different ways. So one thing that has helped with me is, sorry to jump, but this will connect things.
Right.
Do you remember when I say people with bipolar, rather than the other mental illness, bipolar is such a complicated illness. We are very creative.
Yeah.
So Van Gogh, you know, he's so creative. He cut off his ears because he was getting inspired, and those pictures are worth millions. So Kanye West, which is difficult at the moment, he's being shadowed with this presidency. He is a very talented producer, okay? So in my case, what I found was I learned maybe a bit too late how creative I was. So when I'm ill, one of the things that I do, which sounds so crazy, I don't know how I found out I had this talent. I love balloon decorations.
Oh, wow.
I'll send you some pictures. It's ridiculous. And one thing with bipolar that's a strength and a weakness, we can excel stuff and do it 100%.
Yeah.
Like, we'll think we're great at it. Like Kanye West's case, he's had this idea, I can be president. I'll be the best president. Whether or not it's good or not, the point of the matter is we excel and nothing, you cannot tell us we can't do it. So that's what happened with balloon decorations. I don't know how I got onto this. And I just said, oh, I'm really good at this. But the secret behind that, it was relaxing me as I was doing these balloons. This is good to have a laugh because I was just crying a minute ago. So what's happened with balloons? I've done so well with balloons. The decorations, I decorated my house. When my mum came to my house, she said, did you have a party? And she made a joke. Well, I don't think you did because you don't even have any friends, right? You know, my house looked like there was a wedding, a 21st birthday. And then what was so funny, my best friend, who I'm godkids to her kids, and I'm always doing creative stuff unknowingly, it was their birthday, like a 10th birthday, and she got a marquee. And she's always given me stuff to do. She goes, right, you can decorate it. But the funniest thing was she didn't know at that time I was doing all this balloon decorating because I was just doing it in my house. So I did the decoration. So Lauren, you can imagine what happened. When she walked in, she said, wow, this is amazing. She said, it looks like a wedding. She goes, I like the colours. This is really good. So what I've been doing to help my bipolar is doing creative stuff that does balloons. And so when I was reading about it a bit more, like a way to be mentally fit is like to do creative stuff, even if it's a crossword or just anything, because it distracts your mind. So that's one of the messages I would love to give out, even in coronavirus times, because there's more people now who are going to have more mental health problems than anything else. But one of the other messages I would like to give about bipolar, particularly with Kanye West, and this might be something that I may always have bad confidence about. If you see me, hold on a second, just a second, please. Who is it? Yeah, I'm okay. Are you doing rounds? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just a bit emotional at the moment. Let me call you later on the phone. Yeah, alright, thanks. Sorry about that. I had an Amazon to where was I? What was I saying?
You were talking about
personalities. So the thing, this is one of the messages I would really want to give out about bipolar or mental illness. So if you were to meet me for the first time and I wasn't doing well for my bipolar and I was really erratic, a bit manic, you would think I'm rude, you think I'm crazy, and I really hate that word crazy because it's not the right definition. So one thing it's very difficult, and I understand for individuals, they would never think, but Bella is just unwell. There's a huge judgment, just think, oh, she's crazy, look at her, she's, but we have to understand that. And I think we may need another few years of this, although we're talking about mental health. When somebody is mentally ill, it is an illness. That's no different if somebody has cancer, if somebody has heart disease, or they've broken their leg. And I always use the broken their leg as an example because you can see when somebody's broken their leg. But if you see somebody like Kanye West, or you see somebody like me, because we might be vocal and it's different to the norm, we might just be they're mental. But it's the message that I really just want to get across is it's an illness, and it's an illness that we have to take medication. So there shouldn't be any disagreement. Ill is ill, unwell is unwell. Yeah,
definitely. Well, thank you very much for sharing all that. That's been so, I love understanding more about these because I myself have OCD.
Okay,
so
I
take medication and everything like that. So I understand some ways. Obviously, I don't understand everything. But that, what you've been talking about is brilliant. And whilst you've been speaking, I've been thinking that the article we could do would be something along the lines of three things that you want people to understand about bipolar disorder.
Absolutely. And what I would like to put across, this was something that I touched with Pride, and this is why I've been working with a mentor for the last 2 years, that I share my story. I didn't realise it's also termed as a motivational speaker, because I'm a speaker for networking, I'm an entrepreneur. So doing a speaker was quite easy. But I worked 2 years with my mentor. But what he said was, I didn't know this because I wasn't looking at it. He said, people are intrigued to know your story because you're still living, he calls it a fab life. I've kind of taken it. You're a speaker, you've done this, you teach businesses how to grow. Use that message, but also show people how you got from A to B. And the conclusion is, I'm still living a good life. There may be good days, bad days, but if I can do it, others can do it if they are suffering with mental health. And what I am doing is I'm launching a new podcast show, which is going to go out probably ending of this week. You can check the timing if you let me know when you're publishing the interview. And it's called Think Tenacity. Podcast, because my mentor's always saying that, even throughout your entrepreneurial journey, you had days and many occasions when you were struggling with your bipolar, but you kept going. And I used to say to him, well, do you know what? I don't know what it is. Although it gets difficult, there's something in me like a light that keeps going. And I goes, it's just like my tenacity. So that's how I came up with the name of Think Tenacity podcast. And it's going to be fun. I don't want to be, be upsetting about mental health. It's going to be fun talking about mental health and looking at a lot of celebrities and self-help, lots of different tips. So that could be something that I can give the link to you as well. And how to manage it. So even if I want to get across, even if you don't have mental health, these are things you can do that can help you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much for that. We can link that at the end of the piece as well. It probably won't be for a couple of weeks.
Oh,
so
no
it might
problem.
be after the first episode's out, just because I'm sitting on a bunch of interviews at the moment.
I can imagine. So do you think it will be September?
I get really excited and I interview everyone, and then I'm like, I've got so many. I'm trying to catch up at the moment. So
do you think it'll be end of August, beginning of September?
Yeah, it will definitely be before the end of August.
Okay.
And I'll be able to put in a link at the end to your podcast.
Yeah. I can give that to you.
Yeah.
And
brilliant.
if you need any photos, do you need photos of me? Because I can send.
Yeah, if you want to send over a couple, that would be great.
Yeah.
So that I've got some in the bank ready for when.
Yeah. Because you'll have time.
Yeah.
And will this be? Because I know things have changed with Corona. Not everybody's at the tube stations. But will this be available to go on the print as well as online?
This will just be the online one because they're not printing the magazine.
Oh yeah, I could imagine.
So this will just go up online, but I'll share the link with you when it's gone live.
Good. Yeah. Because I can put it on my website as well and drive.
That'll be brilliant. Yeah.
But
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And sorry, I got a bit teared up.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Sorry.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for chatting with me, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, and when you are going back to the article, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Just drop me an email if you want to clarify anything.
I will do. Well,
all
brilliant.
Right.
Thank you so much, Bella.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye.